Kayla Sishi, and we have Mikey and Mara Kitty. Meow.
Hey, meow
How's
meow.
everyone doing this evening?
Doing all right.
Yeah.
That movie was surprisingly better than I thought it was going to be.
Bad Boys. I've never seen the
first one's okay.
franchise.
The second's kind of okay. I don't know if I even saw the third, but I always figure the more movies they make of a franchise, the worse it's going to be. This was actually good. And funny enough, the best fight scene I saw in the whole movie didn't actually involve our two main stars, oddly enough. But
wow. Okay.
But it was still pretty good. Like, I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well,
Oddly enough, it's a 4 out of 5 stars, with me 4.5.
Yeah. Yeah, we just saw Suzanne had bought a bunch of past films that she really liked, and she introduced me to a horror film called The Ruins, which was one of the executive producers was Ben Stiller.
Oh,
the museum thing.
Oh,
and I was like, wow. And oh my gosh. I mean, it was so frightening.
Oh, I don't know what was something scary.
Yeah, it's called The Ruins. It's the unrated version. It is so gory and my Lord.
I can't watch that.
That freaked you out.
I'm impressed that Ben Stiller made a horror movie. I'm impressed with that.
He did. I was impressed too. I mean, he was talking and everything. What he has is his company, his production company is called Red Wing. And so what they do is they look for up and coming directors. Okay. And the guy that directed The Ruins was a guy named Carter Smith, who had done a previous horror short called Bug Crush. Yeah. And the plot of the movie and the screenplay came from a book actually by a guy named Steve Smith, and it's called The Ruins. And it has I don't want to ruin it. I don't know it. I'll just tell you this much: it has flesh-eating vines, and I'm like,
oh Lord mercy,
Mayan jungles of Yucatan. So
that already makes me nervous. My yard looks like Jurassic Park out there. Like, we need to cut the grass. So the idea of blood, like murderizing vines, really get me. I'm like, oh hell no, no.
Blood looks like yes. Ladies, I wanted to give you an interesting side note tonight. I came across this about an hour or so ago, the top 50 best space movies of all time. And this came from a company called Stacker. And what they used for data was some Metascores. They used some IMDb user ratings. They did a lot of things. And of the top 50, Star Wars, surprisingly enough, is not number one. You would be shocked what's number one.
Aliens?
It's insane.
Let's see.
I'm going to guess Aliens.
Well, Aliens is in there, but it's not even in the top 10.
Oh, wow.
The original Alien is, but,
that's what I meant. When I say Aliens, I mean, like, any movie of that. So, okay, I'll say Aliens.
I think Alien ended up in, like, number 12 or something like that.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I thought it would be higher. Oh, shit.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I could tell you the top 10 if you want me to.
Is Spaceballs on it?
Yeah. Was Spaceballs on it?
No, Spaceballs wasn't even there for Spaceballs. I know. They consider that. Well, it's weird. They consider that more of a comedy than a space movie,
but it's literally taking place in space.
Yeah,
it literally is, right? I know.
Space comedy.
I was shocked that it wasn't even part of the list. Yeah,
man, I want to have a word with whoever made that list.
So,
okay, well, I can tell you who made the list.
Okay.
Before you say anything, Mikey, sorry. So, Bad Boys stars Will Smith and later on Martin Lawrence.
Later on.
Yeah, later on.
They were partners since the beginning.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't see him in the credits list. Okay, never mind.
The first Bad Boys I remember, it had them and it had Téa Leoni. I'm like, oh, okay, Téa Leoni. Sorry, you can't act out of a paper sack with holes in it, please.
Will Smith,
I mean, she was not a.
That's cool.
She was not a. I'm not saying she's good. She's not a good person. She's pretty decent, in real life. But I mean, just not a good actress. Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's married to Ben Stiller, actually.
Yeah, I think she's. Well, is she with him? I don't know if she's still with him. I thought he was with
Well,
somebody
okay,
else.
I thought they were. I mean, it's been a while. I don't usually pay attention much to Hollywood.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't keep track of relationships in Hollywood anymore.
Maybe
They
I
all
think I
go
saw
by the
him.
wayside
Maybe he was with her a
anyway.
long time ago. Because actually, now that I think about it, I think he's actually with that blonde that played whatever her name is in the new Brady Bunch movie.
Oh yeah, Christine Taylor. Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
I actually met her. She's not
wow.
a good person. Yeah, yeah. I met her on the set of Showdown, which was a mock, sort of like a mock parody of the Karate Kid, but it was filmed in the Phoenix area.
Oh, wow.
Actually, in the movie, it came out in 1994. Yeah, not a bad person.
Long time ago.
Long time.
I was like
yeah.
12 or 13 at the time.
I feel old now, ladies. Come on.
I feel old for having said that.
Yeah.
I'm younger than all of you to put together.
Aw, and we look out for you, you cute little thing.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
you sweetheart. You know we love you.
Indeed.
Yeah, I'll just go through them real quick.
Sure,
Okay,
go
so
ahead.
we'll start. Yeah, so we'll start. Actually, we'll start with number 12. We'll go to number 1. So number 12 was 2001: A Space Odyssey. Then number 11 was Aliens, which was the second one after the first one.
Right.
Okay.
Which had Bill Paxton, rest in peace.
Mm.
Then the next one is Apollo 11, which came out in 2019. That was mostly archival footage, and it's the only narration, commentary, or recreation documentary on the list. So that actually made it from number 10. That came from CNN Films. Number 9 was the 1956 Invasion of the Body Snatchers with Kevin McCarthy. Now that's absolutely awesome. Don Siegel, yes.
But didn't Invasion of the Body Snatchers take place on Earth?
Yes, it did.
They just
Well,
came
what
from
happened
space.
was the pods came. Yeah, the pods came from space, but yes, the rest of the action takes place on Earth.
And they consider Spaceballs not a space movie. The fuck?
That's right. I know. That's what I said. This is a messed up list. Number 8 is The Right Stuff, of course, based on the Apollo program from 1983. Number 7 is Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back from 1980. That's number 7. Number 6 is E.T. the Extraterrestrial, from Spielberg. Number 5 is the original, not the remake that was done by George Clooney later on, but the original Solaris from 1972.
Oh, dang. I didn't know there was an original.
And then number 4, get this, number 4 is Gravity. That's the one that Cuarón directed that had Sandra Bullock and George Clooney floating through space.
Oh, that was a depressing movie, and it gave me anxiety because being out there in the middle of nowhere freaks me out.
I can't. I cannot watch George Clooney die like that. I just can't.
Yeah, no, I can't either. Right. The number 3, and you were right there, Moira, right on target. Alien, the original with Sigourney, was number 3 in 1979 with Ridley Scott. I totally agree with that because that gave me nightmares even when I first saw it. Even when
me too. Oh my God, that's when I couldn't sleep.
Oh my God, yeah. The number 2, of course, is Star Wars. Okay, I did say that. Now,
the original.
The original Star Wars, yes, from 1977, Episode 4. Number 1 in this list is a Disney Pixar WALL-E from 2008.
Oh my God, you're telling me that WALL-E beat Alien? Are you shitting me?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Wow.
You know somebody who's 25 or under fucking made that list.
You could tell that some woke people made that list.
Well, I don't know if WALL-E counts as woke per se, but
well, he's not technically woke. It's like live action animation, right, Moira? Right, Raquel? And so it's not really woke, but I guarantee that somebody either at Disney or somewhere else thought that it was better than Star Wars. And I'm like, Alien. And I'm like, are you nuts?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I would
prefer
WALL-E over Star Wars, but I know my taste isn't exactly classic.
I mean, WALL-E is okay and stuff like that, but over trucking Star Wars, I don't think so.
I
Yeah,
feel
you're right,
like we need
Raquel.
a recount.
Well, then you need to talk to this gal named Troyer. She wrote the story for the group, for an organization called Stacker, and she put it out like 3 hours ago. And I was like, wow.
Well,
Yeah,
actually,
I was just blown away.
I'll let the dust settle because she's probably getting ate up in the comments anyway.
I guarantee she's being eaten up everywhere else on YouTube.
Yeah,
right
so
now.
there is nothing I can probably contribute to that she isn't already getting. So
Yeah. Oh yeah.
so never
She's
mind.
done.
I'm going to tell
Yeah,
everybody my idea of the best top 10 space movies and let them unleash the fury. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to let the dust settle. Go ahead.
yeah,
I ain't getting
exactly.
that. Oop, gotta
And
mute.
I had a lot. Obviously, I know both you ladies would have a lot to disagree with this list, but me even more so because I'm saying like you put 2001: A Space Odyssey way low. No, in my honest opinion, if you put 3 top movies for space, and I'm definitely putting in the top 5 Spaceballs, like you said, because it's a space comedy. It is in outer space. It is right there. So for me, it's okay. My top 5 have always been, I mean, up until recently, but still, I've always put Star Wars number 1. I've always put 2001 number 2. I've always put, um, let's see, well, this is also part space and part horror, and it's called The Cabin in the Middle of the Woods. It's a great film, really is, and then that's number 3, and then number 4. I've had as Spaceballs. I moved that up to number 4. And then number 5 for me, let's see, definitely would be Star Trek Wrath of Khan, number 2. Yeah. Top 5, right there. Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's mine. But I mean, I just like the wide diversity of the films, especially the one that's both horror and space, is The Cabin in the Middle of the Woods. Yeah. So good stuff.
If I see a cabin in the woods, I'd be very cautious.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to see is some guy with an axe pop out of the cabin.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's quite crazy.
Mm.
And it was directed by Drew Goddard, and he worked with Joss Whedon on it. It's really good, actually. It is. It's
Hello,
well worth
Isaac.
it.
How are you
Hi, Isaac.
doing?
How you doing, Isaac?
Mm-hmm. Oh, and Mikey put some stuff in here. Hello, I'm Mr. Carol and Miss Moira. Moon Pie and Deja Vu both say meows. Ah.
Yeah.
Pumpkin says hello too. She's right next to me, as always.
Hi, Pumpkin.
She likes to be near me where I'm on my laptop and stuff like that.
I have this odd question of you, Miss Raquel and Moira.
Sure.
With your babies, do they like to be kissed on the top of their forehead, or do they prefer more of a tummy rub? Because my
Kiss on the
cats, their
forehead.
cats are different. Yeah, kiss on the forehead.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
She like when she's in I guess and when she's in the mood or I guess or when she wants it, she'll let me do a tummy rub, but not very that often. Just once.
Oh yeah, because she'll start kicking you with her back legs, right?
Yeah, or trying to
Yeah.
bite my hand like a love bite. It's not like an aggressive bite; it's just a love bite, and like no.
Oh yeah, it's just a
no,
love bite.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, see, that's what Suzanne likes doing with Deja Vu. She's our 3-year-old. She loves kisses on her forehead and over her body. She loves that. But if you try to give her a tummy rub, you'll feel this tap tap bite, tap tap bite. It's just a love bite. It's so adorable. And I mean, Suzanne's been bit up a lot, and I'm like, poor thing. I'm like, she just does. She's just not into it. And she's got this beautiful white streak that's down underneath her belly there, and it's so cute. And she just doesn't like to be touched a lot there, which totally understandable. One of us is very calm. That's Moon Pie. She loves tummy rubs, loves it. But if you try to give her a kiss on top of her forehead, she backs off. She kind of backs up, and she's like, whoa, wait, you can't kiss me, Dad. So, it's it's really cool. I mean, Moon Pie is, we basically said, they're both our daughters, but Moon Pie is my daughter in most cases, and then of course Deja Vu is Suzanne's baby. So yeah, it just depends on the situation. But they're weird. I mean, they that's why we love them. They just do different things. Um, you have anything like that, Moira, with your babies? If they resist a kiss or an occasional tummy rub or pets or
Kitty?
kitty kitty,
Meow meow.
meow meow.
Oh, now.
Oh, there.
Sorry, I was washing my face and.
Oh, okay, sorry. No, I
So
was just asking. Yeah, I asked Raquel about Pumpkin, and then I told her about our babies, Moon Pie and Deja Vu. But I was wondering what does your cat like most? Like pets on the head, a kiss on the head, or tummy rubs, or
Fox does not like kisses on her head. The other, Bob, she's okay with it. Dankers
Yeah.
tolerates it, but he kind of rolls his eyes, but he's like, all right. Nuki is a little, she seems skittish. I mean, we don't mistreat her or anything, but she kind of, when we go to pet her, kind of flinches like she thinks we're going to do something. So she's not really big on the forehead kisses, but they all seem to love tummy rubs. Bob doesn't mind being picked up. Nuki doesn't mind. Dankers tolerates it, but Socks will absolutely try to struggle to get away. Like she won't hurt you with her claws, but she'll struggle to get away. She does not like being picked up.
Right. That's like when I show, that's like sometimes when I'm with the gang over at Chip Nerdy and I show them our babies, there is a guy there named Mercer Create. He's a great guy and he has a wonderful cat named Normal. She's a baby. Well, no, she's an adult baby, but I mean, she reminds me of a cat I used to own named Tiger Man, who was like one of those cute, handsome, male British tabby types and breeds. And I was like, oh, it's just so cute. And so what happens is when Normal wants to see Moon Pie or Deja Vu, I can only get Moon Pie to go up to the screen and she lets me hold her and I give her kisses. She's fine with that. But sometimes when I try to kiss Moon Pie right on top of her head, she gets skittish, like you said yours does. And then she kind of backs up. Now, Moon Pie does love her, stroking. Like, so, when you stroke her back or when you do little tummy rubs on her tummy or on her belly, she's fine with that. But when either I or Suzanne try that with our younger one, Deja Vu, she's like tap, tap. You start to do tap, tap, pet on her, and then you get a bite. Then another tap, tap, and a love bite. It's a constant process. But she loves kisses. That's the weird thing. She loves kisses all over her body and especially on her forehead. She really enjoys it. But if you try to pick up Deja Vu, no, forget it. No way. She will not let you pick her up. Yeah, only Moon Pie will. Moon Pie is cute. So, yeah. She's good about that. Moon Pie will let you, but not the other one. Yeah. So.
Interesting.
Yeah. And Normal, and like I said, Normal and Moon Pie, I think they have a crossed, online relationship because every time I show Moon Pie, then Normal gets all cuddled up, and Mercer thinks that's so cute. And then I say, well, when you show Normal, the first one that comes over to my desk is Moon Pie, and Moon Pie can hear Normal, so sense Normal is there. So she knows that if I bring her over to the screen, she'll look at Normal. Normal will look right at her at the screen. And they look at each other with loving eyes. I think it's the most adorable thing I've ever seen across the internet. I do. I think it's really cute. So, yeah. And cats are great about sensing things, right? They have ESP. I swear.
Dogs too. Dogs do the same thing. I love my kitty. Oh, she's so adorable. So so this was like announced like last week. So I guess this is telling how the creativity of Hollywood has gone out the window. So Sky High sequel will bring the entire cast and have them all as university teachers at a place called Save You. Starring, Kurt Russell. Um,
Hmm.
he's in the movie. And that movie was from 2005. I was a
Yeah,
sophomore in high school by then.
yeah. Didn't
Uh,
that movie? Didn't the first Sky High? I saw parts of it. Didn't that have the original Wonder Woman that was on the Wonder Woman TV series? Linda Carter. I thought she was in that.
I believe you're correct. I think Linda Carter was in the movie.
Yeah, I believe she was.
Um, and I think she was the principal of
Yeah,
that school.
that's right. That's right. She was. That's right.
Hmm.
Yeah,
But like, I mean, I wouldn't mind a sequel to that movie, but it should have been like a couple years after the first movie came out, and just
I
having it
agree.
come back this late of date, I'm not
Mm.
really sure about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but here's a good thing. Uh, Even though it's an action movie series, um, Susanna just recently got for us all four of the Expendables. With Sylvester Stallone and
Hmm.
Randy Couture and Dolph Lundgren among others, and of course Arnold. And he was in a couple of things. He wasn't in the fourth one though. That's fine. Uh, the thing is that I've always enjoyed the Expendables because not only of the action, I'm an action guy. I love action films, but they use a lot more practical and visual. They don't use a lot of CGI, which I think is totally awesome.
Hmm.
And they just put this Expendables 4 movie out 2 years ago. Suzanne and I went to see it in the theater, and I thought it was one of the best expendable films ever made. And they've done four of them, like I said. And it didn't have a lot of CGI. In fact, it had maybe two CGI companies work on it. The rest were all practical groups, like Crafty Apes is a big visual effects company, and they also work with practical. And they had a bunch of other practical effects companies that worked on this fourth one. It was so fantastic. The other thing I was worried about was Megan Fox. Now, Megan Fox, when she did Transformers, I was like, oh no, this woman is not, she's there as just eye candy. She can't act. It's terrible. I'm sorry. But, she was in this one and she didn't have to do a lot. And I was like, oh, thank God. You know, she still she still couldn't act. I mean, her acting scenes were atrocious. But I mean, when she did some fight scenes, I have to say, I'm glad there was a stunt woman taking her place instead of her because I was like,
Mm.
oh, okay, yeah. But I mean, it was great, and so we have all four of them in a in a pack. It's they're both all four Blu-rays and all four DVDs, and I was like, oh, sweet. So I felt
Mm.
like it was Christmas. I
Well,
was there.
I'm not
Yeah,
really.
great film, really
I'm
good.
not
Yeah,
really familiar with the Expendable
yeah,
franchise.
yeah.
I know Arnold Schwarzenegger and uh, Sylvester Stallone were in it, but that's probably right. And I think also, oh, what's his name? Um,
Jet Li.
yeah, yeah, Jet Li. Yes. That's not who I'm thinking of though.
Uh, who else are you thinking of? Jason Statham,
Well, yeah,
maybe.
that's what. Yeah, Jet Li, Jason Statham. No, that's not the one I'm thinking about.
Oh, okay.
Um. Oh. Bruce Willis, I think.
Okay, yeah, Bruce Willis was in two of those films. He showed up in the first one and offered the Velena, that was the mission, first to Arnold Schwarzenegger's character, but he says, oh, no, no. Give it to my friend here. He loves to play around in the jungle. Of course, that's Sly Stallone's, Expendables group. Uh,
Hmm.
but actually, this fourth one brought it full circle because up to the point when he had his group, his new group he lost his previous group to somebody who sold them out, and they never
Oh
found out who
no.
it was. So what they did is, in order for closure, they brought the true person that caused Barney Ross, that's his name, so Sly's name in the franchise, caused Barney Ross to hire new people because he lost 8 of his people previously, and it was because of this one guy. And you find out it's a guy played by Andy Garcia, and I was like, oh, sweet. but they didn't let him fight. That's the problem.
Right.
If there are people in the chat that really do love action and love these movies, you can tell me to stop because I don't want to give away too much of a spoiler. But yeah, but I mean, like I said, 4 was great because, like I said, it didn't use a lot of CGI. It didn't have to, really. Just a lot of practical effects and visuals. The storyline was actually pretty good, and it ended in a plot twist, which is very awesome. And not only that, but it did recall some moments from the very first Expendables, and it brought it all to a closure. So if you wanted to make all 4 of them as a big storyline from all, through all 4, and a big awesome plot storyline along too, do it because watch
All
all
right.
4 together because it's perfect. Yeah, it's
Hello,
perfect.
Curtis Shelby coming by to leave a like and a comment. Have a great stream, y'all. You have a great night yourself. Thank you for coming by, Curtis.
Yeah, Curtis is awesome. He's a tired blogger, and he comes to my streams as well. And I have asked him to be up on 1 or 2 panels, but he's a busy man. he's got his own channel too, and he's yeah, definitely check it out because he's got some cool content there as well.
Yeah,
But yeah, but I've asked him to be on a 1 or 2 panels, and I think, well, you know what? I think he did come up once, but he was very busy, and he stayed up for a little bit, and then he went back down because he had to do stuff. And I was like, well, that's cool. I'm glad we got to at least talk to you, Curtis.
well, it
He's a
is
very
the
well-learned man.
summertime. People are more busier than usual. So
Yes, they are. Yeah.
That's the thing, really, for what's going on for right now. Moira, what do you think about this sequel coming years later, when the original movie came out in 2005?
Yeah. I love her avatar. That must be Jawa Kitty.
It does look like it. Kitty,
It looks like
are
a Jawa Kitty. It's so adorable. It really is. I think that's
Moira,
cool.
are you there?
Moira.
Moira.
Yes, Moira Kitty, the house cat of all humankind.
She likes to saunter off sometimes.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said.
Well, we'll get back to that. I heard that Tomb Raider is gonna have an anime coming up on Netflix this October.
I heard that too. Yeah, I heard
and I'm not really familiar with Tomb Raider. Haven't played the games, so I'm definitely interested to watch this and see how it is. Hello, DJ Play Nice, swinging by though to say hey and a boost the algorithm. Thank you very much.
Meow, meow.
Thank you for being here. I hope you have
Meow,
a good
meow.
rest
Hey,
of the evening.
Play Nice.
Oh, hi,
Yeah.
Curtis. Thought I was in the other room.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be, I'm definitely gonna watch that when it comes out. I'm interested because Tomb Raider is gonna have the anime coming out on Netflix this October, and
Awesome.
I'm not really familiar with the franchise, so I'm definitely interested.
All I
Checking
know is
it out
Jolie.
when it comes out this October.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Raquel. To become familiar with the anime, it might be best to go ahead and watch the very first Tomb Raider with Angelina Jolie,
Right.
because the reboot with Alicia Vikander was okay because
I
we
didn't know
own
about
all
that.
3. Yeah,
Mhm.
Alicia was all right. But I think the one with Jolie and, of course, my wife's cousin Daniel Craig was very, very good episode, or very good version. And then, of course, it's got the guy who played Arnold Rimmer on Red Dwarf, and he's the butler. He's the one that sets up everything. It's hilarious. No, really, if you want to get involved with Tomb Raider, I definitely would say that first one with Jolie. Yeah, definitely.
I'll have to check it out sometime. Now going back to Sky High, Moira. So Sky High, which is like 2005 film, starring Kurt Russell and Linda Carter.
Never heard
So
of
they're
it.
doing a sequel
Oh,
years later. and having the students as teachers at a place called Save You. What do you think about this?
I don't know what to feel about this. I don't even know what's happening. Like, I've never heard of this movie. I have heard of Kurt Russell, and I have heard of Wonder Woman. Like, I've heard of them, but
Right.
like, I don't know what show that is, so I wouldn't know what a reboot would look like.
It's a movie.
Oh, a movie. Okay, see how much worse this is. Like, what is it
Yeah.
called?
Sky High.
All right, let me pull it up on some YouTube real quick on my phone, so I can maybe it looks familiar. Maybe John High movie.
Now, in regards to Tomb Raider,
Right.
yes, I'm a little worried. Not so much that it's anime, because I know they're going to be using different voices
Right.
for Tomb Raider and for some of the other characters. But what I would like to see is consistency
And
in
sticking
those
to the
characters.
source
And
material.
I'm curious, right? And I'm curious if they're going to use the actual characters from the original, like I said, with Jolie and Craig, or are they going to use the rebooted one, which had Alicia Vikander in it? And like I said, Suzanne and I own all three. We also have, the second one that Jolie did, which was The Cradle of Life, which isn't bad, but it's not, it's not better than the original Tomb Raider.
I think they're probably most likely getting different voice actors for this Tomb Raider anime show on Netflix. That's my opinion on it. But I don't know. I might be wrong. Who knows?
I'd be curious to see who does those voices, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I don't know. Like with the Sky High sequel, I'm kind of up to it, but at the same time, I kind of not, because it was like a few years after the first movie. I will be okay with it. We see, okay, another year at like high school for these teens and stuff like that, and I would probably pretty fine with it. But just having them like there's since it's so much of a time gap to the point they're not longer teenagers, they're adults now. To have them having be teachers now doesn't really make me very interested to kind of not want to make me watch the movie or being interested in it.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of when they redid the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers as a movie a few years ago, and they, of course, they had all brand new, guys and gals that were playing, the Power Rangers, and then of course here and there they threw in an occasional cameo appearance. I think that was one of the last movies that Jason David Frank, came in as the Green Ranger, and but he was playing some other kind of role in that film, and he showed up, and I mean, and I don't know if Bulk and Skull, those actors, if they had shown up in it or not, I'm not quite sure. I only saw parts of it, but the thing is, what I'm worried about is if you're going to put, if you do put this Sky High thing sequel out, I got to be honest with you. Linda Carter's a decent-looking person, but I don't know if you bring her back for a cameo. And the same thing with Kurt Russell. So you know what I mean? And of course they're going to have the original kids grown up, right? So they're going to all be, older. Yeah, I'd have an issue with it, Raquel. I really would, like you would.
Yeah, I definitely do now. I saw the preview. I'm like, that looks vaguely familiar. Please don't make that movie again.
Well, it's a sequel, and they're bringing back the entire cast. I don't really think the adults, but more of like the teenagers are going to be adults. They're going to be teachers at this place called Save You.
Wow.
I wouldn't mind the sequel if it's like a few years after,
yes,
the original movie came out. But just coming with a sequel this late a date, I'm kind of not interested in watching the sequel.
Yeah, because now the kids is out of school.
Right. I don't.
And are they saying it's going to come out this year or next year?
I don't know when it's gonna come out. I can look it up and see for myself.
Yeah, because if it does come
Um,
out next year, it would make sense because I guess they would make it 20 years later. Uh, I don't know. I mean, if they put it out, then call it Sky High 2 or just call it Sky High 20 years later and just call it that. Make it its own independent kind of film, but
no, there's no
geez, I
release.
don't know.
There's no release date to it.
Not yet. Okay, well maybe they'll
No.
get smart and not put it out.
Well, right? Here's hope.
Maybe.
But
Uh,
here's something I'm really interested in getting, and the Great Gatsby and stuff like that. Yeah, like I read it in high school, but it's just been a long time. I can't remember how exactly went the story, so
yeah,
to speak. So that's going to be adapted in manga um, next year, and like
right.
definitely want to get something like that. Get my hands on and read because I'm more of a fan of comics than in just like regular old books. No, don't get me wrong. I like regular old books, but I like to have more vil- uh, visualization of the stories on comic book form. It's
Right.
just me, really. So I'm
You're
pretty
forgiven.
excited about that.
Yeah.
I really should watch. I know there's a movie. You know, I think a Great Gatsby starring I want to see Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, I've seen the memes. I'm assuming yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was more of a remake. Yeah. Not so much a reboot. It was more of a remake, but yeah. See, I remember growing up in high school, I watched the original Great Gatsby. Well, actually, it was in community college because I was in a cinema class. So that was one of the films we actually watched was the original Great Gatsby, which is fantastic, by the way, if you can ever find it still anywhere on DVD. Um, but I mean, like when they did the remake with DiCaprio, I was like, look, Leo, you've had a few successes, okay? Like we just got the remastered Titanic, the original Titanic he was on that they did with James Cameron. And I thought, okay, that's pretty awesome. And you know, um, he was in Inception, right? And I think that was pretty awesome, Christopher Nolan.
hmm
But I mean, but then there's these other films you seen him do, and they just weren't his best. I mean, by far. And I just, it depresses me in a way because, um, you would expect somebody like Leonardo DiCaprio to be, one of those, once in a while, once in a lifetime kind of actors, like you had with
right,
James Dean or Heath Ledger, right? Even recently, um, or even the guy from the Fast and Furious, Paul Walker, right? Yeah. So
right.
like there's a few great guys and yeah, I mean that came out and had their moment and then they're gone and you're like, so what does that say for the other actors that are out there now? And Leo has already reached that point where he's, he can look over at his friend, George Clooney, who's way old, and he can look at him and go, "Oh my God, have I reached you now?" And George could probably say, "Yeah, you're right there." So
He's still
yeah,
doing. Both of them are still doing good. Um, is this the original one from the '70s?
The Great Gatsby.
Yes.
Um, that's a good question. I'm not
Says
sure. It
Great
might be.
Gatsby from 1974. I do not recognize any of these two actors, but um,
Well, let me. Yeah,
there's one actor that does seem familiar. Paul Rudd, RUDD,
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd. Okay,
Paul Rudd. Yeah,
that
yeah,
did
Paul
seem
Rudd.
familiar to me.
Yeah, I'll take a look here at
Yeah, the guy's looked the
1974.
same since like 1996. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah,
His
yeah.
jawline,
Now,
actually, his jawline got better. I don't know how the fuck he did that, but his jawline got better. But other than that, he hadn't changed. It was weird. It's some
yeah,
sorcery right there.
Hmm.
yeah. Now here's a few of the actors and actresses that stood out. This is from the 1974 film. Now we all know about Robert Redford. I mean, you know,
Look,
uh, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
I like 3 Days of the
Directed a lot of
Condor.
great things. Right, and he was Gatsby. Mia Farrow, who was Woody Allen's woman at one time. She played Daisy. Bruce Dern. I mean, Bruce Dern's done The Hateful Eight. He's done with Samuel L. Jackson. He's done a lot of other great films. He does westerns. He was Tom Buchanan. Karen Black, who is she's just, she's done some horror films, things like that. Sam Waterston, he was in Caraway. Lois Childs, who was Holly Goodhead in the, James Bond film Moonraker.
That would be a James Bond
and
movie.
Edward Herman, who was in there. I mean, there's a lot of great actors and actresses. That's like an all-star cast for me. When I saw it back in 1974, and then of course saw it in cinema, class, and I recognized some of the people, and I said, "Oh, that's pretty awesome." Yeah. And then it came out again in 2013, like you said, with DiCaprio played it. So, Redford's character.
Familiar with it. I'm somewhat more familiar with the 2013
Yes.
version, but it's been a while. Yeah, I'm not familiar with the 70s version at all.
Yeah. But I would recommend it if you ever do find it on DVD. It's out there occasionally. You might be able to get it from Amazon Prime, or if you're lucky enough to still find some DVDs in Walmart's, you could probably find it there somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, it's definitely.
I need to I haven't not, checked out. There's a lot of stuff I haven't really checked out, like One Piece, the live action One Piece of Netflix, for example. Haven't really checked out season 1 so far. I'll eventually get to it. But season 2 and 3 are being filmed back to back, so we probably might get 2 seasons of that. Maybe sometime next year. Not really sure about that, but something to keep an eye on. So this was released earlier this week. If anyone is on Gilded, which is a competitor to Discord, Gilded has announced that all users will be required to connect to a Roblox account to use its services for some odd reason. So they take the same route that Sony did with Helldivers 2, Helldivers game. I don't know if it's Helldivers 2, I think it's Helldivers 2.
Yeah.
If you remember,
I think it's the second one you're thinking about, the Helldivers 2, yeah.
Yeah, Helldivers 2. If you recall, Sony said to all PC users that they have to have a PlayStation account to play the game. That was pretty much, stopped because all the backlash that we're getting. Now these fools are doing the same route.
Love how you said that.
So Gilded is saying to use their platform, you have to connect to a Roblox account, and a Roblox is like a gaming profile / game, mostly for kids. Okay.
Yeah.
And they want us Gilded users to connect to a kid site account and connect it to Gilded. Yeah,
that sounds questionable to me.
Gilded is mostly for teenagers and adults, not really for kids.
No, it's not supposed to be kids.
And Gilded is saying that you have to connect to a Roblox account, which is mostly kid friendly,
right?
And they expect us to connect that to continue to use their platform. I say this is not a good idea. Obviously,
no, it's not a good idea.
Yeah, and people are already saying they're pretty much out of Gilded because they don't want to sign in to a Roblox account to use the Gilded platform.
It's like you're putting,
Because Roblox is usually used for kids. That's the main
yeah,
issue.
yeah.
Um,
I think it's like putting. It's questionable because you're putting adults among children
yes,
that
That's
play the
usually a
game,
terrible
and
idea.
that is a
it's like
terrible. It is
it's
a
like
terrible
throwing.
idea.
Yeah, it's very terrifying. Well, the best, well, I should say, the worst metaphor would it'd be like throwing uh, someone you're not sure about, an adult, throwing him in a play school, in a preschool with all these little
Right.
kids, and
I
you
do.
know, and you're
I
like,
have like I
yeah,
did play a Roblox game with my friend Milton. So I did have to create an account for that. So I do have an account
yeah,
for that.
sure,
However, somehow I don't even know how. Somehow I was contacted with this user on Gilded that found me on Roblox, and
yeah,
it looked like the kid. I'm like, oh no, this is yeah, no.
yeah. This is not
Uh,
right.
this is
Yeah,
yeah, this is no. So I immediately changed my username on Roblox, and like, yeah. So hearing now this, I can definitely see. Uh, so now seeing this, I guess there's already when I had that minor issue. I guess they somehow had um Roblox and Gilded already connected already at that point. I don't know how.
right,
Um, but just seeing this recent update just confirms that minor issue I had.
sure.
Um, yeah, I don't like it. No one really likes it. You know, the people are using Gilded. It's just a terrible idea, and they really should just drop the whole thing.
I
Um,
would say so.
yeah, and in my opinion, they should not go through with this.
Not at all.
So, I'm just waiting to see if they're gonna backtrack this decision before July 15th, on
Uh,
Gilded. But if not, I'm just gonna just totally shut it down on
oh,
my
sure.
account. I mean, I'm just gonna totally shut it down. I'm gonna shut down my server. I'm just gonna get rid of my account. Um, and just looking for alternatives. And I wish I will.
Yeah.
Just in case.
I would. You're
Um,
doing the right thing there, Raquel. I would do that. Yes.
yeah. So just in case, like I mean, I'm looking to other alternatives, and just waiting till if they do, decide Gilded and Roblox decide
Sure.
to discontinue this, which hopefully they will, because this is like a bad idea,
Yeah. Yeah.
and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Um,
My issue with it, the one thing I'm really worried, I'd be worried about if I had an account myself, is how many of the kids, because you did say it's kid friendly, right? So how
yes,
many of those
Roblox is
kids
kid friendly. You're basically putting those kids in jeopardy.
you are every single day, because most of the kids are probably either one, there's probably a few that have two parents, but I mean, there's probably one that only have a single parent and is busy, and they're not always supervising their children.
Right.
And you have no, I mean, you have no
Yeah,
idea
it's
who
just
is
like
on the other side playing that game
you're
against
you're like,
you.
this is like a bad idea. It's like, it's like
Oh, yeah, for
if you
sure.
can see the signs on the wall of this one. Like,
Oh,
why would you have a kid friendly site connected to a platform like Gilded that is mostly used by
I'm going to guess that somebody is trying to
teenagers
allow
and
a wolf in the hen
adults?
house.
Well, say what, Meyer?
Somebody is trying to let a wolf in the hen house.
yes.
Maybe. Uh,
There you
this
go.
like this just screams like profit to me.
Profit and predatory behavior.
Right.
Yes.
So I am hoping before July 15th, I am hoping that Gilded and Roblox discontinue this bad idea, and hopefully they will. So in the meantime, I will be looking to other alternatives. But if they don't, then I'm just gonna shut down my server and my account altogether because
Yes.
I am not doing that.
Yeah, at that point, I think it's the best idea you should do, Raquel, is definitely shut it down. There are too many red flags with this potential deal,
No, too
and
many
it
red flags.
really, I mean, it really screams like Moira said, it really screams predatory. It's not. I mean, I hope to God there's some sensible minds that say, "Hey,
Right.
look, we're not doing this because it's just wrong, just plain wrong." I mean, they're just like I said, red flags are all over the place.
Yeah,
It's
there's
easy to
stuff
say don't
like
do it. It's telling you, yeah,
that's why I'm hoping they backtrack this before July 15th. If they
yeah,
don't, I'm just gonna delete my account altogether. You know,
totally would. I totally would. I
I'm
would
just not
support you.
doing it. And
Yeah, I would
I'll be
support you
looking
million
to other
percent.
alternatives. I have found another alternative which is similar to Gilded, just like some minor improvements that they should improve on, but it looks mostly the same to Gilded, just like a few minor updates that I would think that would be great to have on there. It's called Revolt. Um, let me see if I can get the website. Revolt, very similar to Gilded. Um, and I think, if Gilded does not pull back from
Right.
this decision, I'm thinking this is where people are going to mostly gonna go,
Yeah,
for the alternative and stuff like that.
sure.
Let's see, I can get it. Ah, here it is. Here we are. Uh, there's the Revolt website. Very
Gotcha.
similar to Discord. There's
Excuse me.
just some things that I think they could update on to make it a little bit more better. But either way, it is a good alternative to Gilded, in my opinion, just in case Gilded doesn't pull back from the stupid decision.
Right.
But yeah, like you guys can check out for yourselves, see what you think about it. I already created an account for that just in case.
Oh, cool.
I just have it all set up and stuff like that.
Right.
I'll eventually will, but I'm just waiting to see, if Gilded pulls back from this awful decision or not. So everything, I'm still keeping my server up, but I'm still having my account for the time being on Gilded. I'm just waiting to see whether or not they're going to pull back from this terrible decision.
Precipice, because it's
Yeah,
dangerous.
yeah.
Yeah, because if they do
Hopefully,
go forward, and hopefully not, but
I
yeah,
am hopefully not. Hopefully not.
yeah.
If they do, I'm just gonna delete my account. I'm not dealing with
Plain and
that.
simple, that's what you should do. I would have
Yep.
no further
And it's a
association with
shame.
it
It's a
whatsoever.
shame. It's a shame because
Yeah,
not all of my friends, and my viewers use Discord. Um,
right.
they go on like other sites like Gilded, and that's where they are. But if Gilded, does not backtrack from this and keeps forward with this decision, it's gonna hurt them really bad.
Oh,
Uh,
I think so.
yeah, like most of my friends, are already like saying they're out. Um, some of them are saying they're waiting to see what the decision is going to be, like if they're going to if Guild is going to keep forwarding with this or not. So
Right.
we're just waiting to see where the pendulum swings with this. I'm hoping it's positive and not negative.
Yeah. Well, there was another topic I was going to bring up about um, the upcoming Deadpool and Wolverine movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the final trailer has already posted. It's on there on YouTube. You can find it.
Mhm.
Um, they had their teaser trailer, then they had a first real trailer, and then they just done a second final trailer for the film. Now, I'm very happy that Ryan Reynolds is reprising his role. I'm also happy that he was able to keep the Disney ravens, or the circling, the people. Basically, if you want to use a metaphor, it's like, the ravens or the hawks, whatever, circling, a corpse or something that's in the middle of a desert. Anyway, the thing is that Reynolds was able to stick to his principles, and he was able to keep creative control. I'm not sure how far that's going to last, but he was able to keep it in our rating. So my concern recently is I've been reading some news on it, and I've been seeing some early critics, because sometimes I think what they do is, mostly now, they've been doing it for a while, they do these pre-releases, like way beforehand, for groups, like movie groups and critic groups and so forth. And from what I've been reading lately, a lot of people are not happy with it. However, that being said, I don't think it's fair that they get a pre-release before we do of the film, because I really think what should happen is that everybody that knows it's coming out either July 25th or 26th, depending on where you are, um, they should get a chance to see it for themselves and then have a viable opinion. Because, like I said, some of these pre-release groups don't like it, and that seems to be a slight advantage over the ones that do. And I'm like, but where you got to understand where this movie's coming from. It's had so much controversy, and it's had a lot of changes, and it was up to Ryan Reynolds. He was the last guy who was able to get Hugh Jackman to just come back and do his role. Because you figured after basically after he did Logan, he was done. He wasn't even going to do it anymore. In fact, he even said in an interview that I had downloaded somewhere, where he said, no, I'm not doing Logan anymore. I'm not doing Wolverine. But somehow Ryan got him to come back and do it. And so that worries me. I don't like it when some people have been able to have a fair or unfair, I should say, an unfair advantage of being able to see it before we do, before the general public, and then make opinions. And I'm like, but you're ruining it for us. Why would you do that? I know they've been doing it for years with other films. I know that. But I mean, it still bothers me. I don't, and maybe what I should do is just shut my my computer down, just not watch any other, opinionated, critic channels on YouTube or anywhere, and then just wait till the film comes out.
I
And
just
then
say
see for
wait till
myself.
the film comes out.
Yeah,
And just you know, just based on what you think about that from seeing the film itself.
yeah. Well, like I said, I'm proud of the fact that Ryan stuck to his guns and said, "You're not changing my film from an R rating to a PG-13 or any of that BS. I want it R. It's going to be R," and it stayed R. And I was like, "Okay." So there's a small victory for, you know, basically, because Ryan Reynolds is one of those common actors, right? I mean, he's been in a lot of different things, but for him to
Yeah,
be able to keep control over, which is basically, if you think about it, he's done two Deadpools, which both have done really well, in box office, and have done really well, if I can say this right, worldwide. But now he's got a third one, and he had to have creative control. He had to make sure it was going to stay R rating, because his previous two were R ratings, if I'm not mistaken. And I think it's a good little victory against Disney. I also think it's coming at a time where, if you see what's happening with Disney, the way that they're undergoing all these changes, their stock is going down. They're talking about, contract merger talks, with Warner Brothers, Skydance, Paramount Pictures. I mean, there's so much in the way of that, as far as like corporate Hollywood anarchy, I call it, that this movie, which is coming out, and you want it to succeed in some way, But then some people that hate it, some of the critics are saying that if it does, it's going to give Disney enough boost to do more schlock. And I said, well, I don't know. I don't know how to answer to that. So I was curious what you ladies thought about that.
Well, I'm hoping it does well. I mean, I'm looking forward to the to the movie and stuff like that.
Me too.
I really hope we get to see huge Jackman wearing the Wolverine mask, even if for like it's for 5 to 10 minutes. I'll be fine with that.
Amen. If he's got that full yellow outfit, well, they've shown it in trailer. So he has the outfit on. He's got the full yellow and his claws and all that. And I'm like, awesome. But I haven't seen him in the actual Wolverine hat wear. Would you call it that? I don't know. Anyway, but yes, I agree with you. If I see him in that for 10, 15 minutes, I'll be like, yes. I'll be like, yay.
5 minutes will be okay.
10 minutes for me is good enough.
Hey, Alexander, how are you doing? Hope you're having a good
Hello.
evening.
Yes, good evening, Arabic. One of my longtime
Alexander.
supporters of our channel. Thank you so much, Arabic.
Same here. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. So
It was
I
awesome.
heard Subway's making foot-long cookies. I'm like, wait a minute. Since when do you have foot-long cookies at Subway?
I know. Isn't that weird?
Mhm.
We're already talking
We got
about
like
heart
five,
attack on a plate.
so we got like foot-long sandwiches. Now we got foot-long cookies now.
Foot-long cookies, and they're chocolate chip, by the way. And there's
Ew,
even
yes.
a double chocolate chip. And I'm
Oh, heaven.
like, no.
No.
I don't know. What do you do? Buy one of those logs, Moira? Do you buy one of those logs for Christmas and let it last for a couple of months? Freeze it and then just kind of use it for certain holidays or something.
What?
Hey,
Cookies?
Akeem. Someone say cookies? Yes.
Yes, we did, Akeem. Yep.
Someone pull out a tape measure.
Right?
Yeah, hello,
Because Subway got in
everyone.
trouble for not selling actual footlongs. They were like 10 and a half, 11 inches
Yeah.
instead. And so they got sued for that.
Ooh,
Yeah.
So that's why I was like,
should
get the tape
be.
measure out. Let's make sure it's actually a foot of cookie.
Hello,
Yeah, it's got to be that
hello,
long at least.
Give me a foot-long oatmeal raisin cookie.
Amen.
That's
That is
I
a
like
bold, that
oatmeal
is a
raisin.
bold
Yeah,
man.
I love that.
Hey, you can have an oatmeal cookie.
No, I'm not saying it because most people don't admit that. That is a very bold man.
Oh,
He
I
is.
thought.
Nothing bad.
Never mind.
That's very bold. Like, wow.
Very
I
bold.
want my 15 cents.
Man, that reminds me of that one movie where that kid goes, I want my $2. That's what it's making me think of.
It reminds me of the Olsen twins when they did that little music segment about trying to sell their brother for 50 cents.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Well, we just, I got to tell you something funny, gals. We, Gorilla's Random Thoughts, awesome guy, and he does these cringe stocks, watch parties and stuff. We just saw RoboCop 2014, the one that had Michael Keaton as the boss, the nasty CEO of Omnicorp, and Jay Baruchel, our Canadian guy, was in that movie, the end of the world with Seth Rogen and James Franco, and so he's playing Keaton's sidekick or evil executive. It was so weird. And then Joel Kinnaman was playing RoboCop, and oh man, I tell you, what was so weird was there were 3 commercials. Like even in the first 3 RoboCops, there was always this commercial that said, "I'd buy that for $1."
Oh, God.
But then you hear it in 2014 where it said, "I don't want that for $1." What?
Right. Hakeem says, if I get a white chocolate macadamia, I might end up in a diabetic coma.
Oh God, we don't want you in that, Hakeem. No.
Don't do not do that to yourself.
Did he just say, yeah, diabetic?
Hey, Fade.
Yeah,
Hail to the panel.
Yeah.
Hello, Fade. Hail.
Hey.
Hail, Fade.
So
Yeah. He's funny. Hello.
so Apple is gonna there's gonna be a new iOS update soon. So they're gonna have a new feature. So for the disabled people, we will able to open apps and use your phone with your eyes, and
Oh, really?
Right.
that just screams eye strain to
That
me.
and what if I could get an eyelash or something in my eye, and then
Right?
Yeah, that would
suddenly it's
happen.
going
Cool, like,
crazy.
it sounds
Suddenly
like a
it's
cool
going fucking nuts, and I'm like got windows popping up everywhere. I'm like, oh my eye.
It sounds like a cool
Yeah.
idea. It really does. I guess you just have to be careful how much you use your phone, so you don't get eye strain. I guess.
But
And they're adding an advanced AI for precise voice control of apps, and it has I have to agree with that, because if you say certain words for Siri, especially when you do voice to text, sometimes it will think you're saying a different word. So hopefully with this update, that won't be a problem anymore. I'm
Do
hoping
they?
it
Yeah, let
won't.
me ask you a question, Raquel. Do they presently have apps for blind people? Because obviously this doesn't help people that have been born
I think
blind
this
or
is. I
suffered
don't
scarlet
know
fever for
really, to be
blindness.
honest.
Yeah,
It sounds like a
yeah,
new feature.
yeah.
So I'm hoping uh it will have a good success, and also with this precise control of price no sorry precise voice control of apps as well, and
Well, yeah,
hoping
voice apps, right?
hoping with these new updates it's going to be good, especially with the eye opening app thing, and the precise voice control of apps, and voice
Right.
to text thing is more update from what we have now. So I really
Right.
can't wait for that to come by. But
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna come till I think, let's see, um what's supposed to come out, um iOS 18.
And I was going to congratulate you. I noticed that this is your 50th Night Owls Club. So congratulations.
Thank you
You,
so
Raquel, and
much.
Elijah. Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
50th.
Yeah, your 50th. I hope you continue to bring these, uh, Night Owls Clubs
Oh,
forward
definitely.
and keep doing them because they're so much fun and you learn a lot.
Oh,
That's the best part. You
it's
want to have a channel that helps you learn, and you can help
definitely.
other
I
people.
definitely agree
Yeah,
with you with that.
yeah,
I have no plans of falling in the tower or anything like that. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. Um,
yes,
so iOS 18 is beta test version, supposed
Data.
to release next week. Oh, sweet. Hopefully I'll get a notification to update my phone next week. Shiftyism. Kids in the hall did a sketch where Bruce came into a stereo shop and wanted to buy everything offered to him for $1.
Wow.
I mean, the dollar store used to be for $1. Now it's not like that anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah, I seem to recall that particular skit. Yeah, that was kind of funny. It was, yeah. Like, oh, do you want
Trivia.
my whole desk for $1? Sure. Yeah.
Eric says trivia. What does visor stand for in Star Trek? I don't really know. I don't really.
I think it's some kind of sensory eye thing, because it says visor, and that's what I think of is like a visor that goes over your face or eyes.
And I can't figure out the last letter. I'm not really sure. Mikey, what do you think?
Yeah, I can look it up. I believe that the one he's talking about, the letter R, is for receptors. I believe that's what that is. But I can always look it up for us. Yeah, mean in Star Trek. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
just
not
give me a moment.
really.
Replacement.
I'm not really familiar with Star Trek. I haven't really watched
Visual
anything
instrument and sensory organ replacement.
Star Trek
Oh
related.
yeah, there you go. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, visual instrument and sensory organ replacement. Right, very good. Yeah, I just
Organ
got
replacement,
that.
huh?
Yeah, because the Reading Rainbow guy, he has the thing thrown with his eyes, so he's got like what looks like a headband over his eyes.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Moira and Mikey
Or
says
Forge or something. I
Avrex
think.
Thunder. I haven't seen Reading Rainbow in a very long time.
I haven't either. That's why I
Well,
was like,
you know,
I
Jordy
couldn't remember
LaForge is great
LaForge,
with
so I
Reading
just said
Rainbow.
Reading Rainbow guy.
Yeah.
What?
I-
What do you say, Mikey? Sorry.
Oh no, I was going to say that Jordy LaForge will, in this case, are can never remember. I can remember his real name. Anyway, he did his Reading Rainbow, and he did an episode based on the Next Generation, and I have it downloaded on YouTube if you want to check it out. The guy that did the Reading Rainbow and played Geordie LaForge. It says here that in the Star Trek fictional universe, I was just going to read that the visor is a device used by the blind to artificially provide them with a sense of sight. And you use it like a pair of sunglasses, and the visor scans the electromagnetic spectrum, which is creating visual input, and then it transmits it into the brain of the wearer via their optic nerves, which are still working even though you're blind. So, yeah. Yeah. And LeVar Burton, yes, thank you, Aravic. That's it, LeVar Burton. So, yeah, he did a couple of Reading Rainbows, doing behind the scenes of the Next Generation, and his position as Jordan LaForge in engineering. So, yeah, you should check those out because those are actually very educational and very fun to watch. And I do have a couple of them. So, yeah, totally cool.
Yeah, Rainbow, Schoolhouse Rock. Dang. Yeah. Really.
Your favorite thing, the chip off the block at the schoolhouse. Yep, I remember all that stuff.
Yeah, I have a number. It's been
so
long ago. I don't like the way they turned them into contact lenses, but I get it.
Can I address that to Aravic for a moment? Now,
yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah. Now, Aravic, you're referring to in Star Trek Insurrection when he's on the planet there and he doesn't have his visor because the planet's atmosphere itself is allowing his, receptors and his optic nerves to heal so that it looks like he's, got his sight back. But in a way, it kind of looked like it had these contacts, so to speak, that he was wearing. I think that was just done as a, just as a visual effect, a practical effect. It may have looked like he was wearing, contacts, like Star Trek contacts, which sounds weird, but maybe not as weird as the visor. But yeah, I mean, it was just, it was just a visual aid.
Okay.
But to me, it looked like his eyes. It didn't look really like he was wearing contacts, but no, I could definitely see where you were mentioning that. Yes, also in Nemesis and Picard, yes.
Hey, yes. Sort of Poopus, Cuber. Yahoo!
Yeah, bird.
Hey, how are you doing? Been a bit.
Yeah, Snort Poopus. I call him Snort. Yeah.
Avrex says also in Nemesis and Picard.
Yes, sir. They were all. He also had it. Well, after Insurrection, he had his eyes fixed, and so yes, he was. But I don't know. It's weird that Aravic refers to them as contact lenses. I don't really think they were. I think they were his actual eyes, but I don't know. Maybe I was just seeing it. I was seeing those eyes from a different angle, and you might have been seeing something from a different angle too, Aravic. I'm just curious. That's all.
I'm awake later than usual. Yeah, I am too much of a night owl, so
we're night owls. That's why it's Night Owls Chat. They've done 50 of them.
Yes. I am not much of a morning person, but it's back and forth with that.
And hello to you, Snort. It's good to see you.
So I saw something in a really positive note. To see if I can share this out.
Okay.
A Taiwanese man helped a knife attack because that's what his anime hero, Himmel from Firen Beyond the Journey's End would do. I'm not really familiar with the anime, but I would like
Oh,
to check
it's
it out.
free and yeah, it's called Free Friren Beyond
Yeah,
Journey's End.
that's
Yeah,
I thought I said.
Friren
He
Beyond
also
Journey's.
said he hopes his actions and pride as an otaku will help improve public perception of those who identify as such. Now, this is I find this really commendable, but at the same time, folks, don't take the law into your own hands when your safety is at risk. Let the police do their job. But at the same time, kudos for this man to stopping this man and doing a knife attack. And this is very admirable that he would do this. Will do the same thing that he admires if his animated hero would have done.
I think that is awesome.
It is awesome
because sometimes if you don't act, nobody else will. So sometimes it is necessary.
pretty much. And I'm not really familiar with the anime, but I'd like to check it out for myself. But this is like a very commendable note for everybody.
Well,
and I thought there's so much drama and bad news going on. I thought I would just share this in a really good positive note with everybody.
yeah, it is a good positive story. The only problem I have with it though is it's like if I were to take my niece Monique and say, "Hey Monique, if some guy is coming to try to hurt you or something, does that mean you're going to use attack patterns that you memorized from Sailor Moon, say for example, or something, and
Sailor
you're
Moon,
go Haiwa
Cobra
karate
Cobra
yeah,
Kai.
sure. Yeah, I'm just saying it's a nice story, but it applies to. I have to say that this Taiwanese man got lucky. Let's just say that.
I would say the same. Like I said, it's very admirable, but at the same time, don't put your safety at risk. Let the police do their job.
Yes, I agree. Or it's like the guys, some of these people that aren't black belts, let's say they're like green belts, guys that
Or
fight,
have no
in a
martial
karate dojo.
arts, or has no
Yeah,
martial arts experience at all.
exactly. But then they think like if some guy's coming at him with a knife or a gun, you're gonna turn into Jet Li all of a
That's what
sudden.
I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking.
So,
Thank God this crazy person did not have a gun.
thank God, yes.
Yeah, but very admirable, for this man to step in and stop a Nike attack, because he was admired with his anime hero. Like it says,
Yeah.
would have done the same thing with his anime superhero would have done, and very admirable of him.
Yeah.
But, yeah, don't be careful, folks.
Sure.
Eric Saunders says, "Yeah, that's cool. It's like a Japanese version of superheroes. Yeah. It's like My Hero Academia uh, 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 show, which, by the way, it's on its last arc in the manga, and I'm like, oh man, I haven't really gotten into the 6th season of the anime yet, but I will eventually." Sort of Poopa says it's a good way to get hurt unless you have some combat skill. Yep, totally agree with that, sort of Purpose.
Me too, sir. Yeah, definitely.
And I saw something really interesting. On Twitter, it's like I'm like, wait a minute, they're still doing this. So it says nearly a year after the Ocean Gate implosion, which is sad. Very unfortunate. Rest in peace. Billionaire Larry Connor announced plans to take a $20 million submarine down to the Titanic.
Wow.
And we've been to the visiting Titanic and its ocean depths quite a lot throughout the decades. But yeah, I'm not really opposed to it or anything like that. I think it's really cool and stuff like that. Seeing more close up of the Titanic, and it's whatever what remains still there to this day.
Yeah. Didn't
That
they just have recently? I'm sorry, I didn't
Yeah,
mean
go
to
ahead.
interrupt, Raquel. But didn't they just have the last known survivor of the Titanic disaster, pass away recently? I thought they did.
I am not really sure. Let me look it up real quick.
Yeah, good idea. Because I thought that I did read a story. Oh, honey, I think somebody knocking on the door. Yeah, I thought that we just found out that the last one passed, but I might be wrong. I'm not, because there were.
It says here, oh no, Vina Dean was only 9 weeks old when her family boarded the Titanic in 1912. She never publicly spoke about the Titanic until September of 1985 when the wreck was found. She lived to be 97 years old and passed away in 2009. She was the last surviving She was the last living survivor of the ship.
Oh, okay, then all right. So that was the last one 15 years ago. Okay.
Yeah, so Plutus is right. The last survivor died in 2009.
Okay, so they're all gone. Okay.
Yeah, they're all gone.
Yeah. Well, then they added the new ones with that recent you know, thing that went wrong, when they brought that one vessel down there and they joined everybody else. The one that imploded, right? Just recently, the one that they had. So,
Yes, that was the Ocean Gate implosion.
yeah, that's right.
Basically the water is they dive too deep, I'm guessing, and didn't take precautions with that, and they were crushed like a pancake, sadly.
Yeah, yeah. Have we heard any more about it? Like, the victims' families. Have they done any legal, uh, you know,
I'm
fighting or
No,
stuff?
but I am sure there's a lot of suing going on.
Yeah, yeah. Which is sad.
Yeah,
It's
it's
unfortunate.
called the Ocean Gate Titan submersible implosion. That was like last June.
It's been a year already. Wow, that's insane.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Um, yeah. Oh my gosh. So there were like it imploded during the expedition to view the wreck of the Titanic.
That's right.
Right.
And he
And
said that the guy
now,
that, yeah,
so this guy called Larry Connor
right.
is announcing plans to take a 20 million submarine down to the Titanic. I
Yeah.
am hoping they're taking the precautions to avoid this terrible tragedy ever happening again.
Yeah. Well, Snort is right. The guy that originally built that other submarine did it on the cheap. That's absolutely true. And then,
Yeah,
which is
like
the
a
saddest thing.
submarine should not be built on cheap. Okay,
No.
okay,
No.
that's your first red flag right there.
Yes.
And
Well,
again, like it was a terrible tragedy.
yeah,
Rest in peace for for the ones who
for
sadly
disaster. Right.
lost their lives.
Yeah. Yeah, because
Mm.
there are, well, even as we speak, there are submarines that are still uh, traversing the deepest part of the ocean, which is the Marianas Trench, down there in the Pacific Ocean area, before you reach Japan in the Mariana Islands. And it's the deepest point on Earth. And some of the submarines, because of the depth, obviously would, crunch together like you said, like a pancake, or just like like a regular soda can, and then the whole thing,
Right.
implodes.
You're correct. The deepest part of the ocean is called the Challenger Deep, and it's located
Yes,
beneath the Western Pacific Ocean in the southern end of the Mariana Trench, which
the
runs
Marianas. Yes,
uh, several hundred kilometers southwest of the U.S. territorial island of Guam.
yes. Yeah, that's the deepest one. Challenger Deep,
Challenger
right?
Deep is approximately 10,935 meters, which is let's see, hopefully 35,876
Yeah.
feet
So
deep.
what we're saying, right? So what you're saying is this gentleman who wants to go down to the Titanic wreck,
Mm-hmm.
he's looking at building a submarine that's
For 20 million.
actually twice the size of the one that went down to the trench.
I don't.
Yeah.
This is say how big it is, but it's the submarine is going to cost 20 million.
Oh, for sure. And then he's going to have to reinforce it with so much. And and we saw from the Oceanside disaster the pressure that's down there. Because if you recall, when they talked about the Titanic disaster, and Cameron's been down there, he's done, his own trips down there in his own, sub, so to speak,
Right.
and the water pressure and everything that's down there is so intense. I mean, you have to have absolutely the latest technology, which is unfortunately that wasn't the case with Oceanside. They thought they could do it cheaply and get you down there anyway, but that's not true. Obviously,
Right.
so who's ever decided to build this thing he's got to spend a lot more money than Cameron obviously has spent with his technology. I'm kind of worried about that. I don't know. Some people are still under the impression they could just go straight down there and no big deal, but no, there's a lot of pressure. I mean, that ship has been under tons of water pressure, and the atmosphere and everything down there is toxic because you have a lot of items that obviously have dissolved over the years, including well, people's bodies. But I mean, besides that,
That didn't
I mean,
take long.
there's a lot of toxicity down there, from other objects, brass and metal and mercury and all that stuff. Yeah, you know what? I wish, I just wish people would leave it alone. That's my honest opinion. I don't think they should touch that place. It's sacred. It's a graveyard. That's why it's there for a reason. It's
But I can
supposed to
respect
be
it
a
on a historical
memorial, and you
significance.
don't touch it, right? I mean, you just don't touch it.
I mean, I
So,
understand bringing some stuff up, just for historical
Right.
purposes. But
well,
yeah,
I
but
don't have a problem with
Right.
that, Moira. But I mean, but again, like I said, this bothers me because there's a similar issue that's being debated right now. They just lost the last. What I found out was they just the last survivor of the Pearl Harbor attack and the destruction of the USS Arizona, the memorial that's there. The last surviving sailor has already passed, not too long ago. Probably, I think, within the last year or so.
Mhm.
And now the issue there is that the Pentagon and the Pearl Harbor Veterans Association, and also the Ford Island Wildlife Refuge, they're all having issues about the ecological balance being disrupted because of the oil that still seeps in the memorial from the ship, plus the bodies that are still down there, even if they're probably not all in one piece anymore.
they're probably
But there are a
done.
lot of them that were trapped down there. But even though I wasn't in the Navy for very long, as a naval man, I agreed with a few people down there that said, just leave it alone, just let it go, because it's a sacred graveyard, for all those men and women you lost, down there in the ship and everything.
I
But
mean, if
then
they
I
could
also,
find a way to clean the oil up, that would be nice. But
yeah,
the bodies and stuff, they've long since been bones because bodies don't survive in water very long because of
that
the little critters.
that's true.
Right.
But here's my
Go ahead, Mikey.
yeah. Oh no, I was going to say. So here's the thing, Moira. That's the main issue. The oil has been seeping there since 1941. Okay, so we are talking about 83 years right now. I guess when we reach the December 7th anniversary. And the issue is that, first of all, the wildlife refuge around Fort Island and the surrounding area of Honolulu, Oahu, and so forth is at a disadvantage. The balance is affected by the oil seepage that's been going on for all that time. But on the other hand of it, the Pentagon says, well, why don't we just raise the darn ship? Why don't we just get rid of the oil completely, which is a nice thought. But then you got the veterans, like I said, you had the Pearl Harbor Veterans Administration, their association, you've got some other survivors, and they're all saying, no, 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 no. Leave it there. It's a sacred relic. It's a sacred graveyard, and
There could be
military
ways to
graveyard.
clean it
Leave
up
it alone.
without
So
removing the ship.
yeah. So
I
I'm
agree.
curious. I mean, what would you do, Moira? I know you've been involved with some military. So what would you do personally yourself?
No, I just carry myself in a weird way. But no, if I'd been in the military, I probably would have been thrown in jail for violating a direct order. But
Okay.
Court martial.
well, if they told me to
This
shoot
movie,
somebody that
court-martialed.
wasn't armed, I'm not shooting them. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not. But
Yeah.
but I think there are ways probably to clean up the oil without removing the ship.
I agree. But they
like-
haven't figured it out yet. This is, like I said, this is over
Well,
80 years
surprising
ago.
me, because
So,
there is some let me go look it up. I think there's some kind of some kind of a bacteria that's fairly harmless that eats oil. Hold on.
yeah, look it up.
Bacteria
It says,
that
"See the darkness and the fact you have to keep few
oil.
ports very small to withstand the pressure. You're not going to see much. Well, unless you have
Right,
a
it's
camera
definitely-
or a video camera or some kind of like water
Well,
drone.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you need a special underwater imaging camera for that?
Right.
Yeah.
These are species of marine bacteria in several families, including I'll try to pronounce this correctly.
Marinobacter, ocean spiralis, Pseudomonas,
and
No, pseudomonas, and
Pseudomonas,
and
Alcanivorax.
Alcanivorax.
and they can eat petroleum product.
Yeah,
eat
Alcanivorax.
compounds from petroleum as part of the diet. In fact, there are at least 7 species of bacteria that can survive solely on oil.
So this would be one way they could, clean it up a bit.
Yeah,
And plus, I think there's some kind of a thing someone developed relatively recent that sort of sits on the surface of the water, and it absorbs the oil and lets the water go on through. So those are a couple of different methods they could use at the same time to try to fix that.
The best photos come from ROVs.
That's the remote operating vehicles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I needed help with that. I didn't know.
Yeah, no, that's it.
Yeah.
I know what he's talking about. Snort. Yeah, those are special underwater imaging remote operating vehicles that are able to get a closer view of the ship and be able to take photos. And I think that's really all we
It's like
need.
the
is those
vehicles
kind of photos.
for
Yeah.
we're on different planets.
Yeah, like the imaging of Mars, or
Right.
where the rover's been there, and stuff like that. So yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, you don't need human beings to actually take a lot of photos down there. And as you said, because of the pressure, so much pressure built up, and everything you're trying to keep from those windows exploding inward or something, it makes no sense for people just to try to take photos. And plus you're charging them an arm and a leg and a foot and everything else just to go down there in the first place. And the danger. I mean, yeah, okay, so you sign a waiver, big deal. So then if you get down there and then you have what happened with Oceanside, because nobody knew how cheaply he was doing it until they found out, and it was too late. And I just, that frightens me. I don't like
He made people nervous when he had remote control gaming controllers to operate the sub.
Right.
That should have been a red flag for everybody. I think it was a red flag for everybody but the people who decided to get in there.
Right. Well, okay, and so here's the question I was going to ask then, Moira. So, are you thinking the Navy might have an opportunity, U.S. Navy would have an opportunity to introduce that kind of oil-eating bacteria into the Fort Island Wildlife Refuge? That's asking a lot, because we're not just talking about.
There might be a way to block it off. If there is, I'm trying to remember. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know what it's called. I've seen it before, so I'm going to have to try to explain to Google what the fuck I mean. So hold on.
Sure.
Sure.
Wow.
Mikey, we I don't know about Moira, but X-Men 97 was pretty good.
It was
Um,
awesome.
yeah,
I
it was
liked it.
awesome. So, the Marvel Studios head of streaming has teased a potential revival of Spider-Man of the animated series from '98. And if that would really happen, I would so love it because the '98 series of Spider-Man, it pretty much left off on a cliffhanger. Like where
Yes.
did where is really Mary Jane? Which dimension did she really go to? We don't know. I
Well,
would love
here's
I would love to see that come back. We did see a small cameo, actually two small
sure.
cameos of Spider-Man and Peter Parker and Mary Jane Watson in X-Men '97.
Yes.
I definitely think they should bring Spider-Man the animated series from '98 back. I really do, so we can
Yeah.
finally find out what happened to Mary Jane.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I was also thinking that if you do bring it back, why don't you go ahead and incorporate the live action movies you've already done involving Spider-Man and Doctor Strange in the multiverse and
Mm-hmm.
allow that in animation because you can do that very easily. I even know because Kevin Feige himself said, yeah, you can pretty much with the type of animation and CGI you can put together now, you could just put together everything for that. So
Mm-hmm.
I said, yeah. So if you're going to bring back Spider-Man from 1998, then incorporate some of the up-to-date multiverse stories that are tied in, and maybe in a way that would tie in
Are you
with the
like
cliffhanger. Yeah,
are you talking about they should really do like a Spider Verse kind of thing in the
I think so.
if they do bring back Spider-Man '98 TV series, yeah, like I would like yeah, I would definitely like to see what happened to Mary Jane, where she went
Yeah,
to, and how Spider-Man's going to bring her back to their own dimension, and with that you will see like the Spider Verse into that. Like I would really
yes,
enjoy that.
I would
Shifty
love that.
Gism says X-Men '97 is awesome. Totally agree.
Yes, totally agree.
I have minor issues with it though, as they switched up some of the stories they adapted in the season. Yeah, I do. There are some things I wish, I thought they could, do better on, but either way, still awesome.
Yeah,
Shiftyism in the comics, Xavier wiped Magneto's mind, leaving him a vegetable, and later causing Charles to turn in the villain Onslaught, who wiped out half the Marvel universe.
huh.
Yeah, so that's okay. Even though it's from, here's the thing. Even though it's from X-Men '97, like it takes place, in the '90s area. It is part of the multiverse of Marvel.
It
So
is.
you're not going to get the same version um, with this series. So that's the thing. Even though it stays true to the source material, somewhat it's not going to totally stay true to the source material because it is part of the multiverse. So
Yeah,
yes, things are not going to happen correctly, um, like the did in the comics. It's going to be like a switcheroo kind of thing, or
yeah.
something alternate. Um, uh,
Well,
no.
here's my take on it. What I would like to see, like I said, with the Spidey multiverse,
Hmm.
I would like to see where Mary Jane ended up. I want to
Yeah.
see where Gwen Stacy in another part of a Spider-Man multiverse, superverse would have ended up. I
Hmm.
want to see Miles Morales more involved. I loved both of
Right.
Miles Morales's Spider-Man. I did, and I
Hmm.
want him more involved. I also want to have uh, the alternate Spider-Mans that Garfield and Maguire and Holland all played, and incorporate them into this Spideyverse and
Right.
put them all in there if they do this animated
Yeah,
98.
I totally agree with you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We'll get back to you in a moment, Moira. I know you're waiting patiently. But I agree with you. If they really do bring back Spider-Man animated series from '98, which will be fantastic, yes, we need
Hmm.
to see where what dimension Mary Jane went to. How are they going to get back to their own dimension? And from there, yes, I would like to see it go to the Spider Verse as well. I would definitely will really enjoy that if they decide to do that, which you really should at this point. Why not? With the with the success X-Men '97 had. Also, again, with the animated series and the comics, I know they're linked to each other, but and I know the TV series is gonna somewhat closely resemble of the comics, but at the same time, it's not. It's going to be like an alternate version kind of thing
Yeah.
with the show because it is part of the Marvel multiverse and stuff like
Yes,
that.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah, so it is what it is, I guess, with that. And I hate seeing that phrase.
Yeah.
It's time for the old bear to crawl back into snooze bag. Take care, every human. Thank you so much for stopping by, Smart Pupus. You have a
Meow,
great
meow, bear.
rest of your
Meow,
evening.
meow, snort, every
Mhm.
human.
50 Gizm says, I never get my Spider-Man in the movies. In the movie, the late 70s Spidey was way too depressing to adapt. Pete was always on the edge of having a mental breakdown with all he was dealing with. I am not familiar with the 70s Spider-Man,
Me either.
unfortunately. So maybe
No, but
Mikey would. Like, are you familiar with the
I,
70s,
yeah, I
70s
would, you know
Spider-Man?
what, yeah, I would incorporate a little bit of that. You don't have to put a whole bunch of it, Shifty. Yeah, I would, I would have to put in some of that because in this last Spider-Man, Tom Holland's Spidey was dealing with had a lot on his plate. I mean, not only was he with Mary Jane, and Zendaya, actually, you know what? If she does a voiceover of Mary Jane, I'm fine with that. I am
Mm.
totally fine with that. If she does that in the animated upcoming, hopefully. But that, like I said, Tom Holland did have an issue because in the first place, that's why he had Doctor Strange. You know, the world knew him as Spider-Man. They knew him, and according to the comics, Peter Parker was very guarded regarding who he wanted to know that he was Spidey. And of course, when everybody finds out after
Superhero
what happened with
identity.
that one guy, I mean, it's like yeah, that just I don't know. It's hard to say. I would think that there. I'll tell you this much: if you're going to do this, make sure also that you put in, even if he's in for like a cameo or something, Doctor Strange. He's a big, huge part of that multiverse, and he's got to be in there. So
Well,
yeah,
we did see Doctor Strange like in one episode of Spider-Man, in Spider-Man '98. So yeah, if he's responsible, well, if he's like further responsible for the Spider Verse, or
yeah,
to explore Spider Verse, I'm fine with that. But also we
sure,
have the multi-dimension multi-dimensional camera
right,
that they use in the last season of Spider-Man '98. So there's
yes,
two different ways they can go around it. You know, the multi-dimensional camera, Madam Web, actually three ways: multi-dimensional camera, Madam Web, or Doctor Strange. Either of those three would be fine.
yeah.
Exploring into the Spider Verse. Moira. So what are you showing here?
Oh, hold on a second. I gotta go back to this tab. All right. So, this particular thing here, they basically built it up and then pumped the water out. So that's the floor of the river or lake, whatever. And they can build like pillars in there to construct it. But what could be done for the ship is build something like this around the perimeter and pump the water out of it. And they might be able to repair the leak and stop it or remove whatever it is that's leaking without having to bring the ship up or anything else, and then just
Oh,
deconstruct that when they're finished.
So this is a proposed
But that's a
structure
lot of
that
water.
they would like to use for the USS Arizona, correct?
No,
Or
this
for the-
is I found this picture a long time ago, and this is
Oh.
they're making this so they can put these bridge supports and anchor them to the ground.
okay.
But the same concept could be used in a perimeter around the ship, so they can pump the water out. It could take a little while, but pump the water out
Yes.
and probably process it so that it doesn't have the oil in it when it goes back into the water.
What
And
it sounds like a nice idea, more, but here's the problem. You know, it's really, really, really deep water. This is more like, from this picture I'm seeing, this more like, yeah, it's deep water, but more like shallow. Like,
well, where the Pearl Harbor is, the ship is not as deep as the Titanic is.
Yeah, no, the
It's a lot.
the
You can see
USS
it from the
Arizona is
drone.
very
You can
right.
see it near the surface.
Oh yeah.
So there's something like this.
I like
would
this
work.
idea. Yeah, you know what? I like this idea. If they do implement it in that way, they can, because like it's it's not even hardly buried in the sand there. It's still
Right.
very short. But what they could do is the remaining cans, the canisters of the oil that are still leaking, or even that's down there,
Yeah, just remove it.
it can get safely removed. Yes, and then you wouldn't have any more issues.
Yeah, so they made something like this, but a little bit bigger. Because I don't know
Yeah.
how big this is. So I don't know how big that bridge is. But
Yeah.
it made it a little bit longer. Technically, it could be big enough for the ship.
Oh yeah, you could, and you don't even need it that big. I mean, what we're seeing here is a good size. But if you've seen, I don't, have you been either of you ladies?
like,
to the US?
from what it looks, is this like the length of a football field from what it looks like?
Almost, just about.
Just about.
Just about, yes.
About halfway there, because it seems to be, I can't tell, but it looks to be a little bit wider than the bridge itself.
Right.
Right. So yeah, keep that one up there, and let me just see if I can pull up.
But that, like,
Just
if,
an
but if,
idea of
if they were asking me my opinion, this would be one of the ideas I would suggest to them.
Right. Okay. So let's see if I can click on this. Okay, there it is. All the image. Okay. Now, so that's the image there. So let me go over to here and share it with you guys. Let's see. So share the screen. Okay. And here's the image of it. Okay. All right. So go ahead and click on that there, Raquel, and I'll show you the. There's the size of
There
it.
it is.
Yeah, that's the actual memorial, and that's the size of the USS Arizona, which is remaining from there. And
Okay.
as you can see, buried, and it's not buried very far.
Nope.
So if you take Moira's design, the structure she showed us, and maybe just cut it down a little bit by half, maybe, Moira, you could easily go down there safely and get all that removed. Yes.
Say it again, more. I didn't catch that.
It's hard to tell because I can't tell how long the ship is, and I can't tell how long that little structure thing down there is. But I mean, it might have to be twice as long, but technically, I think it could be done.
Well, I just think it could be done.
People would be dressed in almost like crime scene gear, so they don't mess up anything, and just remove the stuff that's leaking, and then make sure everything's safe to leave it, and then deconstruct the little wall and let the water come back in.
Right.
Yeah, so that just gives you and like I said, I found this picture because I figured it gives us a good idea of scale, and then you can go from there and like I said, use the technology that you showed us, and maybe just modify it slightly, but you would be able to get all of those remaining oil drums and canisters, whatever's left from the ship, out safely without affecting the integrity of those sailors that were trapped still down there as part of a graveyard, military graveyard we're talking about. So that's honored. It's honored, hallowed ground. And you wouldn't have an issue. I mean, that's what they should do. I agree with you. That they
Because
should
I feel like that, because Raquel did bring up the point that once you put that bacteria in the water, it's going to be hard to control it. And so if you don't want it turning into one of those invasive species moments, this might be another alternative that won't do that.
Right. But if you do use that oil-eating bacteria first. Make sure the oil-eating bacteria won't affect local wildlife.
Well, that's why I don't
really
know
only
how they would
solution.
block it off. Is that unless they did something similar to
Sure.
that structure I showed y'all, but
Yeah.
but not pump the water out, but it would trap
Sure.
it in within that, and then you have to find a way to basically neutralize the bacteria completely
Yes.
before removing the thing, because then you can just eat that within that area. But that's still not going to stop those canisters from leaking. So
Sure.
you're going to have to get rid of the root of the problem first.
Right.
That's right. So basically, we're telling the U.S. Navy, if any of you are watching us secretly or covertly, we just give you ideas of how to get the oil out of the memorial, out of the Arizona, without affecting, specific areas of Fort Island or any of the wildlife or anything. So there
Indeed.
would be no ecological issue as long as that's controlled. But
Right.
Yeah, because I'm assuming those panels they're using, once you're done, you can just dismantle them and reuse them again somewhere else.
Sure.
So it shouldn't leave any waste or
So
anything.
reusable material.
Right?
Yes.
Technically, it should be able
Recyclable,
to.
absolutely. Sure. Yeah.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah,
So
there's even been rumors lately where they said, well, is it still possible we could raise the Titanic from the ocean?
It's in
completely
such bad
apart?
shape
And
that
I
it would
don't
break
think
apart
so,
in more
but-
pieces.
Yeah. Go ahead, Margaret.
well, I think it's possible if you do this kind of thing with the Titanic. Then yeah, I would
maybe.
definitely
The
see.
Titanic is so incredibly deep. There's no way we could do this.
That's what I
Right.
mean.
Plus,
That's what I
there's a
mean.
scattered debris
yeah.
field. I mean, there's so much that's still buried in the sand there in a debris field that stretches, almost 2 miles long, I think somebody said. So, yeah, there's a lot involved there.
Right.
But if we use something similar to this structure and maybe based on scale, if it's just a little bit smaller, it could definitely fit all around the ship of the Arizona and be able to retrieve those oil canisters and drums, everything else that's still leaking. So, yes, it could do that.
Definitely.
Theoretically.
Well, yeah, this is all theoretical we're talking about here. Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So I found out there's like a Angry Birds 3 coming out. There's a teaser trailer of it. I haven't really checked it out, but I'm like, that's cool. And
I
haven't really checked out the Star Wars Acolyte TV show.
Oh, okay. I've heard different things, but until I see it myself, I really can't judge it. I really can't offer an opinion. I've heard different sides about Star Wars Acolyte, and they did release the first 2 episodes on a premiere stream of the first 2 episodes, and I've heard different things. But yeah, unless I see it myself, I really can't judge that. Yeah, I'd have to see it myself, but I'm sure it's available on online platforms and stuff. So yeah, you can check it out.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out. Either I'll have to check it out. I mean, yeah, like I don't know. I have to watch the trailer and give my thoughts about it. But people are already saying that it's bad and stuff like that. And Star Wars is even further dead. And all right, but you're really seeing the trailer. You haven't really watched. I don't really think the show's even out yet. I don't think.
Yeah. Well, do you ladies? Well, I don't know if you might remember, but there was a TV series called The Fugitive, and then later on they did
heard of
2 movies. Oh, okay. Well, then later on they did 2 movies. They did The Fugitive boot movie, which had Harrison Ford in it, and also Tommy Lee Jones. And then from that, they made a sequel movie called U.S. Marshals, which came from that, which had Wesley Snipes and Tommy Lee in it. And the premise is, well, this is only the one thing I've heard so far. But the premise is that they're saying this is a cheap man's version of The Fugitive mixed with Star Wars. So I was like, well, I remember what The Fugitive was like, and it was a pretty good, decent series. But then you're mixing it in the Star Wars universe, and that's why it's bad. So I said, well, you know what? I'd have to see it myself to judge, but that doesn't sound too good from what I heard. So
Oh, I
yeah.
am. So the Acolade's already out.
It is. The first 2 episodes are already out
Okay,
there.
so I was wrong. It's already out. I haven't really seen
Yeah,
the
me either.
trailer,
So
or I haven't really watched this first episode. I really can't get my
Really?
opinions on it. But people are already
yeah,
like,
I don't care to. I don't know. I'm a
yeah,
big
that's what people are saying. People are not or don't really care
yeah,
to. It's like
yeah.
they're saying it's terrible. It's like, oh, Star Wars is even further dead.
Well,
I don't know. Um,
well, it's not that
I haven't
I
I
it's
haven't
not what I
really
hear from them. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Raquel. Sorry.
I haven't really watched it to give my opinion on it. So
Yeah, that's my opinion too. It's like, I hear certain things and then I'm like, but wait, I haven't seen it myself, so how could I really be an accurate judge? I can't,
right,
it's like until I found out.
I'll reserve my judgment until I watch a
Yeah.
couple episodes of it.
Well, I guess the worst example is until I found out Velma was pretty much terrible.
Oh gosh.
Because I heard horror stories, but I said, okay, wait, I got to see it myself. And then Gorilla showed me the first 4 episodes of season 1. And then currently I've seen with Tony Stark of Iron and my friend Sci-Fi Sifdan, we saw the first 4 episodes of season 2. And oh my God, I just wanted to tear my eyes out. It is so
It's
woke. It is
not.
so bad. I can't even
I
begin to
guess
tell
you
you.
could say this is like a comedy spoof of Scooby Doo, because I did not count it as Scooby Doo
It
material.
it's more of an adult parody of
Yeah.
Scooby Doo, Where Are You, and the Mystery Machine, all that. And I'm like, wait a second, there, okay, now, I'm not a racist person by any stretch, but when you make Shaggy a black man, and then you don't even have Scooby Doo, he doesn't even exist. He's not even a part of it. Um, and then you got Velma herself, who's just narcissistic, antagonistic. She thinks she's all that. And then, you got Daphne, who's just way out beyond. I mean, just, you don't even think she's viable as a human being, but she exists. And Fred, who has self doubts. And I'm like, oh, please, please, you hurt me here. You're just killing me. I don't know. I grew up with a great Scooby Doo when I was younger, but I'm telling you, Velma is just like torture chamber. Liked it. I likened it to that scene. I don't think you ladies have seen A Clockwork Orange, but there's that scene where Malcolm McDowell has his eyes forced open with toothpicks or metal picks or whatever they are to watch terrible gory stuff, and it's exactly like that.
I haven't read the book. I haven't seen the movies, and I'm not really sure if I want to. So
No, I think it would scare you. A Clockwork Orange is absolutely insane. I'm surprised I'm still in one piece even after watching it a few times. I'm like, oh my God, man, it gives you nightmares. It will. I mean, if you've never seen it before and somebody recommends it to you, you better be either incapacitated or tied down to a chair or something and forced to watch it, because you're just going to step away from it when it gets bad. I mean, really
right,
bad. So, yeah.
right.
And I mean, even the worst part, knowing it was done by Stanley Kubrick, who did such a great, masterpiece as 2001, you're like, oh, man, wow, Kubrick. Okay. You went nuts. I'm sorry. I don't know what to do for you. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's all right. So,
Yep.
yeah. Clockwork Orange. That's, yeah. I tell you, crazy, crazy.
Oh yeah, that's a whole lot of hell no.
Yeah,
Yep.
how about no?
How about no, you crazy Dutch bastard?
Yeah.
No.
I'm sorry, when I heard him say it in that accent, I was like, it is Dr. Evil time. Absolutely. Yes.
Absolutely.
Austin Powers.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah, it was the gold member one where the little bad guy dressed in the gold outfit. Yeah, he
Yeah.
suggested something, and so Doctor Evil wheelchairs up to him and goes, "How about no, you crazy
Yeah.
giant
Remember?
man?"
No. Yeah. Well, he says, I want you in my belly. Come here, you
Oh
little
yeah, the
man.
Scottish one. Yeah,
Ugh. The fat man.
that was
Yeah,
gross.
that bastard. Yeah, the
Yeah.
big guy.
Yeah, I'm not really fond of Austin Powers
I'm not either
movies.
generally, but it is sort of funny, and it is kind of like I do remember it. So the references,
Well,
the memes are pretty fantastic.
I do think what's his name
I have to say though, Moira, in the third one, Gold
um
member. Yeah, Moira, in the third
yes,
one, Gold
I think
member.
Mike Myers is uh I'm even though I'm not really a fan of Austin Powers, I do think he's really great as Shrek.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, he does a great Shrek.
Which, by the way, there is a fifth movie coming out with
Oh
him.
shit.
Oh
Nobody
no,
knows when
are
to
you
quit. Really don't.
serious? It just did
Yes,
four
I'm
great Shrek.
serious. And it's rumored to be released sometime next year.
Oh boy.
No, that's a cash cow. Come on.
I wouldn't mind. Hey, see him back as Shrek, seeing Fiona and Donkey
Oh,
again.
now, come
Puss in
on.
Boots. Yeah,
Oh,
I wouldn't mind it.
Well, I love Puss in Boots. No,
yeah, same.
Antonio Banderas, meow. Right? He's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
He's good to men and women. I mean, even if you're a straight man like myself, I got to say, Antonio Banderas, oh, man, I'm telling you.
I
If you
love
watch
the
him,
kitty. I love Puss in Boots.
Me too.
yeah, yes,
Mm-hmm.
I do. Well, we own Puss in Boots. We do have that movie, and
Mm.
we wanted to get the sequel, but, we didn't get it. So, but yeah, I do love him as Puss in Boots, and well, come on, he did a great Spy Kids franchise. I mean,
Oh yeah.
he's the one that basically kept it together, and of course, he's great Zorro. He was a great mariachi in the mariachi series. We own two of the three. We don't have
Yep.
El Mariachi, but we do have Desperado, and then Once Upon a Time in Mexico. I was like, oh
Yeah,
yeah,
he was also in. Oh, what was that other movie?
Assassins.
yeah.
No.
He was in Assassins.
Fucking
Yeah.
love that movie. He's a
Oh, I love that
fantastic
movie.
bad guy.
It
He's
was
a
awesome.
great bad guy. I was rooting
Yeah.
for him for most of the movie.
No,
Well, you want to?
it was some other movie he was in. Let's see if I can find it real quick.
Raquel was probably thinking of what, like Super Kids or some shit.
No,
Right.
it's not that.
Okay.
So Moira, here's an interesting side bit to that. Well, you know that Sly was in it with him in Assassins.
Yes.
Well, Sly Stallone remembered that he was in the movie with him. So in Expendables 3, that's when Antonio Banderas comes out as Galgo, and he did good in that movie. He in the third one in Expendables 3. So I was very happy they got reunited after Assassins. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, it's been a
I
while.
found it. He was in a movie called Take the Lead.
Take the
That
lead.
sounds like
okay.
a dance movie.
It is.
That's a dance movie. Yeah.
I like him.
It's about a group of students are preparing for a school dance.
Yeah, but he's already talented. He knows how to dance. I don't need.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
The Scent of a Woman when you saw Al Pacino dance, right? Okay. Yeah.
Right.
All
Very
right.
good movie.
Yeah, not a bad one.
Very
but-
weird. I wasn't really into it.
Sure was, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I Shrek 5. Oh man, that's almost as bad. I'm sorry. But that's almost as bad as when I've heard that.
I some people are not really. I understand it. Like if some people are not want to see Shrek 5, I
I'm
wouldn't mind
willing to
it.
give it a chance. No, I'm
Well,
willing
yeah,
to give it a
definitely for
chance.
the
I
like
have
you know
misgivings,
it's
but
for the member berries.
yeah, it's for
Like,
the
it's for-
people that really love Shrek.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's just that I don't want it to turn out to be like what some people are saying about Matrix 5 because they're going to have a Matrix 5 coming out, which is Resurgence, and I said, well, 4 didn't do well, so why would you put out a fifth one?
5? Well, hold
What's
on
that?
a minute. They're going to do Matrix 5?
Yeah,
Hold
there's
on a
going to
minute.
be a Matrix 5, so it's called Resurgence. Yeah.
I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully
I
it's
only
better
found
than
that out recently, and I was like, after
the
we
first
talked
film.
before. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully it's
Yeah.
better than the fourth film.
Well,
Here's
yeah,
the,
I hope
here's,
so. Resurrection, I thought ended everything, but yeah, apparently
here's
not.
the fingers crossed with that.
Oh, big
Uh,
fingers.
yeah. Anywho, I'm gonna end things tonight so I can get something to eat.
Yes, ma'am.
But before we take off for the evening, I'd like to say thank you for everyone being here tonight. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Isaac and friends, Mikey, Curtis Shelby, DJ Play Nice, Abraxander, Hakeem, Shifty Gizm, Hello Human Stayed, and sort of Poopus. I think that's everyone. Hopefully, I'm not forgetting anyone. If I am, I'm sorry. I also want to thank Moira for being here and Mikey. Um,
Um,
Also, please check out my gaming channel. I do play games usually on the weekends. I'm not sure if we're gonna get back into Gotham Knights and Hogwarts Legacy this weekend and next weekend. I might be more likely on the 22nd instead. That's what I'm shooting for the 22nd. So in the meantime, we're just gonna be playing Fall Guys and GTA 5 online in the meantime.
yeah, cool.
But let me get my channel link real quick. Oh, here we are. Also for next Thursday, which is on the 13th, we'll be doing a watch party of Felix the Cat from 1989. So it's something I haven't seen since I was a kid. I've loved cats, and it's a very old cartoon character that no one really hardly speaks of anymore, quite sadly. So we
Yeah,
definitely be watching that next Thursday at 9 p.m. Central Time. So stay tuned for that. Also check me out on my gaming channel. I'm most likely gonna play Fall Guys hopefully with Milton. Um, Either Saturday morning or hopefully Saturday afternoon, somewhere between there. So Mikey, do
yeah.
anything coming up relatively soon?
Yes. So, as most of you know, if you do go to my Mikey's to our Mikey Seuss for channel there on YouTube, me and Suzanne, we have a weekly uh, description there of every webcam and live stream that we do each day of the week, Monday through Sunday. Uh, this coming Saturday, we're doing at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. We'll still be doing our take our review on Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock, because right now we're doing Star Trek films, and after that, we'll be starting with the original series and all the other series, all the way up to Enterprise. And then also, we're going to be doing reviews of the Star Trek fan films. We might do them all. We're not sure yet, but I know two we're doing for sure. Is the Star Trek Next Voyages, which James Cawley did, which could have been phase two. And then we're doing the 11 episodes that Vic Mignogna did later on as Kirk, which is Star Trek Continues. So we're going to go basically from TOS all the way to Star Trek Enterprise series up to 2005, and then go to those two fan film series. And if we get enough recommendations, we're going to put in a poll. We could also do Axanar. We can do Renegades. We can do of Gods and Men. We can do Star Trek Borg. We can do Star Trek Klingon. All of the different fan films that came out in that time frame. We won't be doing New Trek. I have to say, I'm sorry, we don't do Picard, Strange New Worlds, Lower Decks. We do not do Discovery because Discovery's over, it's gone. You know, I don't know if we'll do the Orville because I've never seen it, but maybe if someone suggests it, we might try to do the Orville eventually. But that's in the future. We'll think about that. But what we do every day of the week is on Mondays we do Mikey Sue's TV at 12 noon Eastern, which is we do a take on our previous topics that we discussed on the previous Sunday, and we take one of those, and then we give you a review of a DVD or Blu-ray we own in our library, and then we do a Q&A session at the end. On Tuesdays, we do our streams for the A-Team. We're still working on, right now we're working on season 2. We've already gone through season 1, I believe, or, well, we're close to ending season 1 anyway. And so I do that with Jay Aldridge. We do that at 2 p.m. Eastern. Then on Wednesdays, I'm starting to do The Greatest American Hero really early in the morning, probably usually around 12:30 a.m., because I'm a night owl just like you ladies, and I don't sleep well. So I usually do that. And then Thursdays, I had to cancel it today because I had to get some sleep. But normally we do 2 shows that came out in the mid-'70s. They're live action from DC. One was The Secrets of Isis, which featured the wonderful Joanna Cameron, except she passed away 2 years ago. And then the other one is Shazam, which had Jackson Boswick as Captain Marvel. And Jay Aldrich, my brother, does that review, and I do the ISIS one. And then Friday mornings, I was going to start doing Red Dwarf, and I had to postpone that for tomorrow. So there will be no Red Dwarf tomorrow, but I will be doing it next Friday. Then, like I said, the following Saturday will be Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home. And then finally, on Sunday, we do a topic time. And both the Saturday and the Sunday streams start at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central Time, 1 o'clock on the Mountain side, and 12 noon on the Pacific side. And next Sunday, not this coming Sunday because we're canceling it because we're moving it up on purpose, but next Sunday on the 16th, we'll be celebrating Father's Day, and we'll be celebrating my wife's 38th birthday. I'm putting in hand quotes right now. So that's all that's coming up soon. So check out our main website. And if you look at the broadcast video I post there for new or returning subscribers, it has our full description of the whole week and everything we do. Yes, thank you, Stream Elements. So yeah, check that out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's Mikey's channel. Follow him there. Subscribe. Get a like, share the stream out, and stuff. He talks about what you're currently talking about, like a TV series, right?
Yeah, we're doing different TV series. We do A-Team on Tuesdays.
Mm-hmm.
We do Secrets of Isis and Shazam on Thursdays.
Okay.
On Saturdays, we are going to be doing everything Star Trek. We're starting with the films first, and then the different series. And then on Sundays, we do random topics. And both the Saturday and the Sunday streams are always open panel. And we have it now where we can fit up to 10 people. So if you want to discuss the movies or the series or any other topics we want to discuss other than politics, we don't do politics. But that's okay.
We don't do politics here.
Yeah, okay. So other than that subject taboo, everything else is open on the table. So yeah, we encourage lots of people to come by and give their
same here
input. Yeah.
I'm ready. Moira, anything you have planned?
Not at the moment. I streamed earlier, so I might not stream for another day or so. And if I do, it'll probably be bitching about politics. Just depends on what silliness goes on. It seems to be nonstop shit.
Like how your intro says, like, welcome to the shit show.
Right.
It's a good show, by the way. I like
yes, it is.
It is. Totally believe in it. Yeah.
And it gets it all out of my system, so I don't do that shit on someone else's channel.
Thank you.
You're right. Thank you. Getting your rants out there.
The pressure build up, and I got it like depressurized. Okay, depressurized. There we go. We're good.
All right, maybe Moira might do like either a watch party or complaining about the political bullshit that's going on. Hey, Wade. Hey, thanks for coming.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
we're about just the end things for the night, but thank you for
Yeah,
coming.
hello, Real Wade Nation. He's a good supporter of all our channels as well. So we
Definitely.
appreciate you, Wade. Yeah.
Thanks for being here. But yeah, you just caught the end of the show. I'm sorry, but we'll be back next Thursday. We'll be watching Felix the Cat,
Aw,
which is a
I love that one.
1989 movie,
Yeah, I
and
love
I
it.
haven't seen it since I was a kid, so it's been a long time.
I don't think
And
I have.
It's very cute though. It's
it
a
is really
wonderful
cute.
movie,
It's
and I
like
love it.
you don't really hear Felix the Cat anymore nowadays. Quite sadly,
Right.
I know.
I'm such a cat lover and a dog
Same.
lover.
Well, we all are. Hello.
Heck yeah.
Meow meow.
Meow meow. Woof woof. But anyway, thanks guys for being here. I wish you all, and we will be back next Thursday. But you also can check me out on my gaming channel. Usually on the weekends as well. And with
Yes.
that, guys, I'm gonna get out of here, get some to eat. You guys have a great rest of your evening, and I'll catch you guys later. Later, y'all.
Later, everyone.
Meow
Meow.
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 If this is your first time being here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at RaquelSSG2211. Catch you later.